Welcome to the podcast. I'm Junior Kekuewa Jr. And Bob, it's been I want to say like a busy couple 2-3 weeks. In addition to what, so what I was doing the last few weeks is I was testing myself to see like how much can I handle still at this age, right? Because a lot of guys, I gotta say, I see a lot of guys my age, right? They're getting complacent. They're giving up. They're not really giving up. They're slowing down, but they're allowing themselves to slow down. So my thing was like, can I still do this? Can I still do it? And I'll tell you guys later. But first, the attitude of gratitude. So we want to say, how's it? The countries have not really changed all that much. We didn't really pick up too many new countries at all. The countries are the same. However, Apple Podcasts is slowly going down, okay? And we see this trend across the web because I do a lot of digital stuff. And so we're watching Spotify, and Spotify is killing it, like in all areas on the web, with their platform. And so Apple Podcasts has gone down to 59%. Okay, that's the people that get our podcast. And then Spotify is a steady 14. But we're being picked up in India now, on Ghana. GAANA. It's a network that they have in India. And so we've been graciously accepted and put on that network. So we're going all over the place. And funny thing, but from those guys, they branch us out into Pakistan, into neighboring countries of India. So we're very grateful for them. So thank you guys if you guys are listening in India right now. Anchor is 4%. iHeartRadio. Now iHeartRadio, we didn't have too many people on iHeartRadio. So it's the iHeartMedia app. And another thing I discovered, because I did some work recently with iHeartMedia again, like unofficial, like just, Chris, that's we can't tell you the story yet. Not yet, but we're going to tell you the story later on. But iHeartRadio is actually up to 3%. And they were showing like 1%, which means like a small handful of our listeners. Web browsers are actually on the map now. They're like 2% and 14% other. So these are other platforms that are picking us up. Minor platforms that don't have enough numbers to even constitute a 1%, but they're out there and they're carrying us, and we're very grateful. So thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Males, 81%. Females down to 18%. Okay? So, anyway, and then, we got non-binaries and non-specified people listening now. So if you're non-binary and you're not specified, so mahalo for tuning in. But, so what I wanted to talk about on today's podcast is be careful what you create. Okay? Be careful what you create. Now, you become a slave to your creations. Okay? And I don't mean slave like we're used to hearing the word, but you do become responsible for what you create. Okay? So I'll give you an example of this. I ran this idea because I have a bad habit of running ideas by my mom, especially like early on. And I think when I was in my late 30s, I was in my late 30s and I got this idea. I'm like, okay, we're going to open a store, because I was doing all these businesses. And I said, okay, the next thing we're going to do is have a store. Now, the reason why I started doing these things and different things and actually we were a little premature diverse. We got diverse. We diversified a little prematurely. And so it was a bit of a struggle at first. But once we started going, right, so one day I get up, I go, wow, this production company is going good. Voice school is going good. Record companies, we're producing stuff. That's going good. We're doing jingles. We're doing all this stuff, right? And so I'm like, okay, so now let's build a store, right? Because I was talking to this guy, and he's become very successful with his store. And I'm not going to mention names or anything, but so I used to hang out with him a little while, like maybe a couple, 2-3 times a week. And he told me, he said, no, you should get a store. We go down to Costco, we buy this stuff, and then we sell them, and we collect EBT and all this. And at the time, I gotta say, it looked like a good idea. It sounded like a good idea. And then I ran it by my mom. Okay, now here's the thing, right? Okay, so, but this was a good outcome. But let me just interject something here at this juncture, at this point. Okay, so I want to say that your friends and well-meaning friends and family, okay, and I don't mean well-meaning family because sometimes the family don't mean well, but well-meaning friends and family, or let's just say perceived friends, okay, and family, okay, the friends, bro, I had one friend for 30 years, and the other guys I can count on my hand, and they're all like question marks. Like sometimes they're my friends, sometimes, sometimes. So I just I don't use the term friend loosely, okay, so I'm just like that. And I know what you guys are thinking, right? Like, oh, what, no more friends? No, it's not that. I'm friendly with a lot of people, okay? I have colleagues, I have peers, right? I have people that I see that I'm friendly with, but we don't really hang out. We don't really do anything. We don't really, it's not like they're at my house or I'm at their house or anything like that. And those people I consider to be friendly, like an amicable relationship, or I know him, whatever. And of course, being a public figure, a lot of people say they know you, right? Oh yeah, I know Junior. Yeah, I know Junior. So I go, well, ask him. So I give him this question that nobody would know except people that really, really know me. And I go, okay, ask him this. And if they can answer that question, then they know me, right? And it fails all the time. But here, well-meaning friends and family, okay, will give you the worst advice. The worst advice. But this time for the story, I actually got a really good piece of insight from my mom at the time. And so I was in my mid-30s and I had money to, invest in something. So I thought, okay, I'll build this store. I went down, I talked to the realty guy, right? The realtor, and he was leasing the space and whatever. And it was a good location. It was, right around the corner from people from a housing development, actually 2 housing developments and a shopping center was like right across the street. I'm like, perfect. Okay, this is a good place. Because it is always about location, whether you're, building a home or buying a home or, building a business. So we actually, we actually like went halfway with this whole thing. We're halfway down the road. We're in the home stretch, right? And, the 2 people that, started the voice school with me, right? Who actually started the record label with me and stuff. So I was going to have one of them stay at the store, and then I was going to stay at the school, because my office was at the school, right? So we had this thing all strategically planned, everything. Made a call to my mom. I'm actually grateful this time that I made the call. And I said, Mom, I'm going to open a store. I got the cash right here. I'm just going to walk in, I'll put it down and, I'm do this thing, right? And she presented me with something that I never thought of. She said, if you open the store, you're going to have to stay there. Like every hour that place is open, you're going to be anchored to the store. And I had to think about that, right? And I'm like, okay. And when I started to think about it, I'm going, yeah, you know what? I don't think we're going to do it in store because, I cannot be anchored down. Okay, so the whole thing with my business partner and I, who happened to, play music with me, and he was like my brother. Sometimes it was like my dad giving me advice. Sometimes it was me giving him advice or whatever. We helped each other like that. He was my best friend, Brother Wayne, and he's no longer here. But we always worked things to where we could cover everything. So he covered when I had to go to meetings for our consultant company when we started that, and then and I'd anchor things down when he needed to stay home and he needed to rest, he needed to do whatever. And so but anyway, so we kind of worked it out. That was pretty good. Okay, but now I'm going to tell you guys about, I'm going to relate this to physical entities in the modern world. Okay, and I know a lot of people out there are still their dreams of building a business, right? And they're thinking of going into a retail space and then, they're going to make money because people are going to come and, okay, right? Wrong. Okay, so that's not the future. That's not the future. All right. So first of all, rents, okay, are so expensive right now, right? And we stayed in our retail space for, what was it, 21 years. 21 years in the same location. And it was cool. We had 677 square feet, the first one. And then we downsized after because we had a kumu hula. We had a hula halal over there, a small little, hula group, right? And it wasn't a halal like you see on Mary Monarch. It wasn't like that. It was just a hula class, right? And we had a kumu hula that came and taught, a teacher. She came and taught the girls. We had recitals. We did the whole 9 yards. We experienced everything. And in life it's experiences, right? So we experienced that. And then it was time for the kumu had to take another job. She had to move situations and whatever. So we phased that out. Then we were left with too big of a space, so we downsized. And the rest, as they say, is history. But 21 years in a retail space is, so we figured it out. And it was, I could have bought a huge house with the money that I spent over there. But the future is online. Okay, the future is building things online. Okay, now the infrastructure to support that is being built. The physical infrastructure to support that. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about Amazon. Okay, I'm talking about Amazon building warehouses in rural areas. Okay, so that when you order something, it'll be there in a couple days. They're building one in Hawaii. They're building all over the place. Okay, they're also buying their own aircraft. Okay, they're buying their own, so they're gonna have their own UPS. They're gonna have their own FedEx, right? They're gonna have everything. Now, these big tech companies are doing this. They are building the infrastructure necessary to support their online business, not the other way around. Okay, a lot of people go, oh yeah, well, we can get this physical place over here, and then we're going to go on a website. And I'm like, okay, you guys doing them backwards. Go focus on the web first and what you can do on the web, and then what do you need to support that, and then go subcontract that. Why are you guys getting into a location, right? And we did not anticipate leaving the office and leaving the physical school that I had, right? Because the school was just like technically the school was just a room in the office. The rest of the office handled all of our other companies and our other things that we were involved in, mostly my consulting company and other things. But the most important thing that I would say that you need to do is your homework first. Okay, how much online can you do and how much physical can you do? Now, when COVID happened, that was like telling us, that was like confirming the future. I started working on the future in 2010. We started online in 2010. We started building infrastructure online in 2010. And I got to tell you, Hawaiians, I built like almost half wrong. Okay. Almost half wrong was doing. Okay. But we was doing. Okay. And this is what I'm going to tell you. Okay. About that. Okay. Failure is necessary for success. Okay. You have to fail. You have to go to, and it's called paying your dues. Okay. Paying your dues is not giving somebody a commission, although that is part of the deal when you get to the door where that's necessary, and so here's the thing too, right? We always offered like, hey, if you get us in here, we'll gladly give you 20%. We'll give you 25%. Of course, we researched what the market value was, and we said, hey, we'll give you a percentage. Okay. And we noticed that the majority of the people that we did that with were full of crap because nothing happened. Okay. And if you're giving somebody top dollar, if you're offering somebody like top percentage, I remember I had this meeting with this girl who shall remain nameless. And she came into my office and we were talking about, sales. And she was telling me that she could bring sales from her social media and, all this stuff. And I'm like, I saw her account. I'm like, okay, that's not really going to happen. So I told her, I said, well, if you can prove yourself as a salesperson, like in the old school way, where you go out and you get accounts, I'll give you a percentage. Okay. So I offered her such a high percentage towards the end, because I kept raising the percent. I said, okay, well, if you don't, if 25 is not good, I'll give you 30. I mean, and I kept going up. I felt like an auctioneer at one point. Right? I give you 35. I give you 35 and 40. Let's go 40. Whatever. I don't think I went 40, but whatever. But I was going up, right? And because this is how you have to call people on their crap, Hawaiians. You gotta call people on their crap. And if you call people on their crap in such a way that they are put in a position, okay, where, they can't move. And they can't move because they don't have any leverage. And they don't have any leverage because they're bullshitting, okay? And I know I don't normally swear on the podcast, but that's what it is, okay? Then they have no choice but to go away. They have no choice but to go away. They can't do anything. They can't move. It's like checkmate. I mean, you put them in checkmate, you're like, all right. But you put them in checkmate in a good way. You don't put them in a bad way. Okay, so I offered. Okay, some instances I said, okay, look, we'll come in and do it for free, because I already saw how it can work for my benefit, right? So this very famous entertainer taught me this, and I don't want to mention his name either, because I just want to say this. He said, when you can figure out, or when somebody figures out how they can make money with you, you need to figure out how you can make money with them. And I got to tell you, always, there's been situations, even recently, where I look at it and I go, I can't see it. I can't see what's a benefit for me doing this? I can't see it. And sometimes I got to tell you, God is real, Hawaiians, okay? God is real. Now, sometimes you have to allow for a little journey, like a few baby steps forward. You need to take the steps forward to see what transpires. Okay. Now, I will say that if you really want to see a person's colors, true colors, right, then you have to be as obliging as you can in every respect and put the ball in their court. 9 times out of 10, they can't hit the ball back. 9 times out of 10, they can't put the ball back in your court. And then they're full of crap. Okay, so this girl, right? So the percentage kept going up, and she wouldn't take it. Okay, which told me a lot about her confidence in her abilities. Okay, it wasn't there, so I'm like, okay, all right, next. And but I think the only thing that was wrong about the whole thing was that the meeting took too long. It took too much of my time. But anyway, so what I'm getting to with the internet, with physical locations and stuff. So the things that you guys are doing that are focused on physical, you guys need to start thinking digital, really. So a lot of physical locations are changing. Recently, a friend of mine is a very high-ranking member in the state, in an organization, whatever. He works for the state. He's a very high-ranking person, and he goes, no, you know what the future is? All those hotel rooms that we can't fill, those are all going to be apartments. He goes, you see all these buildings over here with all these stores, and nobody's renting these stores. You see that? Yeah, okay, they're going to be converted into small living units. I'm like, oh, really? So, I mean, I get a little glimpse here and there of certain things in the future. But I'm going to tell you guys that when you guys start planning for the future, if you're that type, okay, if you're 25 years old right now, because I look at our demos, we have a large quantity of 25 to 38 year olds, and I look at the demos, I go, okay, we got a lot of young people listening. So if you're in that category, okay, if you're like, say, 20 to 28 years old, you're listening to the podcast and you're like, okay, I need some ideas to, you need to really look at digital. Because if you're looking at physical, if you're going like, oh, I want to build a restaurant, right? You know how many restaurants fail right now? Like right now, restaurants are like strapped right now. They're cutting their menus down. The supply chain is not up and functioning at full force yet. And so this is probably, when things are like this, okay, it's probably the most opportune time to come in with an innovation. It's probably the most opportune time to come in with partners, in partnerships. Instead of one big restaurant, subdivide it in half, right? Bring in a partner and go do two things. Go do two separate things. Another thing is specialty. Okay, specialty is really important. Okay, if you're the hot dog place instead of the everything we can feed you place, you probably will make more money right now. Okay, because the everything is not happening yet. Okay, it's not happening. Okay, but there's this one guy, and he's an entertainer guy, and I heard that he opened a restaurant. And everybody was telling me, oh, this guy's crazy, man. He's opening a restaurant. He's taking over the lease for this place. And I said, well, because it's cheap right now to take over the lease. And theoretically, if he can pull it off the right way, if he manages correctly, okay, he's probably made the best decision of his life, because it's going to turn out in the long term. Okay, now you got to be in for this kind of stuff in long haul. Physical locations, long haul. Because right now things are still up and down, and you don't know. I mean, the economy could just tank any day. They've been saying that for years, but regardless, right? It's a long haul thing. Now, when we started our businesses, we were like, wow, we're teaching at the house, and then we got the physical location, and then we diversified. And like I said, it happened a little bit too quick. So here's the thing about diversification, okay? It's all about timing, and we learned the hard way, okay? So diversification is normally when, like, you're doing real good with something, right? And when I say real good, I mean you have a cash surplus that you can say, okay, we're going to take this amount here and this chunk right here, and we're gonna build that, or we're gonna buy that, or we're gonna take that over, or whatever. And we didn't do that. we did them the hard way always. We were like halfway to where we should have been, right? With company number 2. And then we made company number 3. And then we made company number 4. So the timing was bad, so we had to struggle. But here's what happened in the 2008 stock market crash, okay? We were seeing people like leaving the building. And it was the spookiest thing. I tell you, people were leaving the building, and the building that my office was in, and we would stand outside sometimes, and these guys would be moving out office furniture and bringing trucks and loading and just going away. And we were like, wow, is this going to be us next? But a funny thing happened, right? And what I was going to mention early on in the podcast about diversification, about multiple avenues of income. Write that down. Multiple avenues of income. Okay. We started the multiple avenues of income, and it was really a blessing that we actually did start when we did, even though the timing was wrong, even though we had to struggle a little bit. The reason was when one business was down, the other one picked up. And when the other one was down, the other one picked up. So we were kind of like that. Like, we had 2 companies that were really solid. And then when they would go down in volume, right? So we weren't making as much, because like for the wedding and party business, there was contract season. And that was the beginning of the year. That was January through March was contract season. Sign, collect, all the way to March. Now, after March, things would slow down, okay? And we would have a little dip before summertime. Things would pick up a little bit summertime, and then they would dip down until about, I would say, the Christmas parties in December. And then it would start all over again. But during those dips and the declines, okay, so you're talking about a big decline. If you're doing like $10,000 to $15,000 in contracts for a couple months, and all of a sudden that thing just goes down. Normally in our experience, it probably went down to, maybe, I don't know the exact figures, but I'm thinking around 4,000 or 5,000, almost in half. Then the other companies started increasing. Okay. And like I said, God is real. So you gotta approach these things with positive thought. You gotta approach these things with a good, solid mindset. And you're going to notice that when one thing goes to the other way, so you have balance. It's like up and down. And of course, the number one thought you have, right, is like, why can't everything be banging? Like, why can't everything be busy? But that's not the way it works. Okay. Money doesn't work that way. If you watch the money flow, okay, money comes, right? Boom, 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 boom. And then money goes out a little bit, like the tide. But when you master that rhythm, whatever that rhythm is for you, okay, it's much, much easier. much easier to anticipate, much easier to work, and then you just go with that rhythm. Okay. Now, a lot of the web stuff that I do, I mean, give you an example of my day. So I'm up at 2:00 in the morning. Okay. By 4:00, I'm pretty well over the first bunch of my stuff. And then I take a break, and from 4 to like 7, okay, I'm doing social media stuff, and doing all the posts and whatever, putting all that stuff up. And after that, I have a little break, right, till about maybe like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And then I have clients that I see. So life coaching clients. I was really fortunate to get another client in overseas, in Hong Kong this time. So I have one in where's that? Well, he's Russian, raised in. So this guy is interesting. He's really cool too. He's Russian. He was raised in Bulgaria, and now he's living in the United Kingdom. So I have a client in the United Kingdom, and I work with him too. So sometimes my clocks get all like mixed up. So sometimes I got to work at 1:00 in the morning. Sometimes I got to work at 7:00 in the morning or 5:00 in the morning, depending on where my clients are. But the beauty of this thing, the beauty of this thing is that you can manage it. You can, we have online systems that manage stuff. We have online payment systems that take payments, that schedule, like all that stuff. We're putting up more. But here's the thing about, you are a slave to your creations, okay? Once you create something, okay, you got to go with it. You have to go with it, Hawaiians. You got to go, okay? So you have to really, when I started the school, the singing school, I did that for my friend because he didn't have anything going on, right? I wanted to be an entertainer. I wanted to be that guy. I wanted to be, I was the funny guy on the radio, but even the radio was, the radio was more for my happiness. The radio was my release. The radio was my fun. And my goal was, getting out there and singing and playing my guitar and doing all that stuff. And so, but I said, okay, let's just make the school. And we moved forward and we made the school, and the rest, as they say, is history. But that wasn't my, I want to say it wasn't my dream. It wasn't my passion. It is kind of sort of now because of the development that I see. And since 2010, when I really tweaked the method and I really adjusted things, and now we get results every single week with every single client. And then the same results we get with our life coaching clients. But that's new compared to, the 33 years that I've been involved with this. It's very new. So, but ever since then, since 2010, I was like, whoa, I can change these guys in one lesson. Yeah, let's do this, right? And everybody goes home happy. Everybody's happy. As a result, my calendar stays full pretty much all the time, with whoever I'm working with, because they get consistent improvement. So so one guy actually got off his antidepressants, which is, I think it was my 4th or 5th person that I got off antidepressants. So this is that's my high. That's my, that's where I get excited, and I'm like, wow, okay, we rescued one more guy. Like, I kind of think of it that way because, man, I tell you, it's really rough. I mean, if you listen to my story, so my producer said, okay, Unks, he calls me Unks. He goes, Unks, you gotta tell the story first, and then we go build everything. So we're rebuilding the podcast now. We started with the story. Okay, so you guys get the story first. He goes, right, you gotta tell your story first, because if you don't tell your story, they don't know who they're listening to, and they don't know your challenges, and they don't know, they don't know. And so I'm like, oh boy, here we go again. So this is actually the 3rd time we redid the podcast. So we're working on, number 3 now. Okay, version 3.0. But the thing about being a slave to your creations, if you're going to create something, okay, it should be something you enjoy. It should be your passion, okay? Now, when we did the wedding and party business, that was my passion. performing, right? Performing, that was my thing. So the wedding and party business was, all about passion, all about, let's go out and kick butt, doing this show and whatever. Let's get this stuff down. And so that was the thing for me. Now, I told you guys a long time ago, it's not even up anymore, but I told you guys about the way God works and the way God gives you things. Okay, because you set out with one idea in your head, and by the time that idea manifests or materializes into something, it happened a totally different way, right? Okay, so one thing that I do is I don't plan anymore. Okay, I just have that visual in my head and I go straight towards it. Okay, and I do visualizing, I vision board. In fact, there's some people that follow me on Facebook. What's my Facebook? My Facebook is Junior Kekuewa Junior 1, I believe. No, it's Junior Kekuewa. Oh, I forgot. Just go look. Junior Kekuewa Junior on Facebook. It's there. But I show and I don't know if they're aware or if the people that actually are on my Facebook are aware, but I am showing them manifestations step by step. I'm showing them how to do it, and then I post the pictures when it materializes, and I don't know how it's being perceived. Nobody's really asked me about it, but they watch, they see it, right? So right now I'm working on my next lease, and it's there. It's on my Facebook, on my stories. And funny thing is, I keep seeing these angel numbers, right? 111, 222, 333, that kind of thing. And so then when I see that on my phone, I go, okay, and I take a picture and I post it in my stories. Okay, and I put, vision board on the bottom. Sometimes I don't, I just post it. But anyway, so my whole thing is to demonstrate that, this is not magic. This is subconscious. This is mindset. This is something you need to see in your head before it can manifest in the physical world. Okay, and God is real. So God will give you stuff, right, that you ask for. But you might not get it the way, you may not get it the way you want, right? But you'll get it. Okay, so like I said, I got the entertainment career kind of, sort of, right? I didn't get the career that you go in and they sit you down and they sign you to a contract and they feed you money and cocaine and all that. No, I didn't get that. I didn't get that part. That I wanted that. I mean, maybe not the cocaine because I never did that, but well, actually, one time, I think when I was 14, 14. That's not a podcast, Owens. But after that, I was like, what? Is this all it does? Okay, no. And I just, I didn't do it. But that kind of scenario is what I thought, right? Oh, I'm going to be discovered. they're going to book me here. And I'm going to be off on a plane going to Japan. I'm going mainland. I'm going to do a West Coast tour. I'm going to do all this stuff. I'm going to do worldwide tour. Right? Wrong. Okay. It didn't happen that way. Okay. God said, here's your wedding and party business right here. You see all these people that you're performing in front of? This was your dream, right? Perform in front of people. You see, so you got to be specific. Maybe I wasn't specific, right? I just said I wanted to be an entertainer. Boom, there I was, right? But I think the blessing, as far as my life goes, right? And the blessing that I bring to the table for others is, number one, being an example of, hey, I was sleeping on a sidewalk. And if I was sleeping on a sidewalk and, you never slept on a sidewalk, you already have more advantage than me, right? And if I can do what I did, you can do it too. I mean, that's my whole thing is like, you can do it too. And when I, show people stuff, I'm like, hey, and they go, oh, hey, nice car. How did you do that? And I said, well, I wrote it down. I started writing, like, I wrote, no, for real, affirmations, meditation, and you have to put yourself in that mindset. Then your subconscious starts producing actions conducive to your goal. That's how it works, Hawaiians. It's not witchcraft. It's not offering to the gods. It's not anything stupid like that. You're a human being. Most people, they succumb to their distractors, okay? Because you have a set of eyes, right? A pair of eyes. Hopefully everybody has, at least most people, right? So when you're looking at something, you begin to identify with that, okay, you begin to identify with the teachers, okay, in elementary school, in high school, who tell you, no, you can't do that. That's only for certain people. Well, you can't be a celebrity. That, nobody told me that, but I hear stories like that. I mean, I worked in radio with guys that actually they said it on the radio. Oh, my high school counselor said that I'd never amount to anything. As a result, boom, he went through the roof, right? It was immensely popular. But maybe it took that to give him the drive. Sometimes you gotta have that kind of drive, Hawaiians. I mean, and sometimes that's what happens, right? Sometimes somebody tells you, you're full of crap. And then inside you're going, I am not full of crap. And you know what I mean? And you get that drive to go, right? Okay, so I started losing that drive about 7 years ago when my friend passed away. Because everything that I had accomplished up until that point was me and him from the time I was 24 years old. So I spent my whole adult life, almost my whole adult life, with the exception of a few years, working on this goal and working with my friend. And he and I, had that. What do you want to call that? When you know somebody really good musically, like it was almost a sixth sense. I knew where he would go when we were doing a live song or something on stage. I knew where he was going, and if he turned around and went the other way, I could hear it coming. I could jump in and follow and go. Now we're going that way, and we used to have fun like that. And a lot of the people that listen to us regularly, right? Never got bored because they would come one night and we would play the song one way, the next night another way, and the next night another way. So we kept things fresh, we kept things going, and things were highly creative and always. I want to say we just built this big bubble and lived in it, and we didn't care about anything else. And basically that's how we lived, and it was all about the show. It was all about what we would, accomplish as far as recordings, as far as, all of this stuff. And now, I mean, it's working. It's out there. We've got 6 albums out there. One of the songs that I did not know was selling in Japan was this stupid improvisation on a song called Crazy G that I did, right? And if you guys ever see it on my album, or listen to it on my album, I should say, you're gonna notice that the beginning line with the saxophones sounds familiar. And it's Woody Woodpecker's laugh. So my friend, right, who was blind, he mimicked Woody Woodpecker's laugh in the beginning of the song with the saxophones. And then, I come in with the ukulele and stuff. But anyway, that song is selling in Japan. And I'm like, wow, I never worked in Japan, never performed in Japan, but my music is being bought in Japan. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. But, so, being a slave to your creations is like, okay, we committed to music and that's what we did. Okay. And, slave can be good or bad. I know a lot of rich slaves. I know some very wealthy slaves, always very wealthy slaves. They're still slaves, but they're wealthy. Okay. But they're still slaves. Okay. And, I want to say that you better enjoy what you create. You better enjoy what you create. We enjoyed everything we created. Okay. And there's some things that I created, that I go, I don't know. And you know what? When you're not enjoying yourself, you know what happens? God comes and fixes it. He does. He really, really does. Okay. And I'll tell you this inside thing right now. When my friend died, right? I have a whole library of karaoke music, which is just the music portion minus my vocal tracks of the music that we recorded. And we're putting up another album in November. Another album of mine gets released in this November, 2022. And so anyway, but I have all these songs, right? So when he passed away, I had to perform and satisfy the contracts we had left. And so I started using, these minus ones, this karaoke kind of music, that was actually Wayne and I, right? But just not the voice. And I would use it on a MP3 player, and I'd give it to Sam, and Sam would plug it in, and he'd play the thing, and I'd be out there singing, and it was agony. It was agony, okay? Because it wasn't fun. It was not fun, okay? I was on the stage and I was singing, but I was singing because I got paid to sing. I wasn't singing because I was having fun singing, right? When Wayne was alive and we were on on stage and stuff, we would be playing like with each other. Sometimes I would do something and nobody would know because they don't know what we're doing, right? And I would be doing something and I'll go one way, and then Wayne would hear me and he would go another way. If you guys ever get a chance, go to my Facebook page and look for the live concert version of this Spanish number that we did. It's on my guitar, my Spanish guitar. We call it the Spanish guitar number, and it's on my Facebook. And it was from the Waikiki show. And on the Waikiki show, there was no rules. It was our thing, right? So it was like, the hell with it. I wore jeans on stage. I did all kinds of stuff. I mean, that was, we paid for it. I'm like, that's my dream. Here we go, right? And so anyway, but during that number, we played back and forth like ad-lib. There was no rehearsal. There was no nothing. We just did an ad-lib, and it's recorded on video. Thanks to this guy that sent his video crew down, for me, like on the house. He just said, no, here you go. I'm like, whoa. But, that kind of thing wasn't going on anymore. And it was very, very, arduous. It was an arduous task. And I had to just keep going. I had to keep going. And pretty soon COVID happened, right? There was the orchestra for a little while. We're doing the orchestra thing, and that, that was good. But that wasn't selling. That was not, something that was in demand. You know what I'm saying? So if you have a choice between, okay, Bob Marley band or orchestra, which one so in Hawaii, like, okay, never mind the orchestra. But we did some gigs, and it was good. It was good fun. It was the realization of a dream. I always wanted to sing in front of an orchestra. Boom, there you go. And so I did that for a while, right? And then COVID came and said, all right, COVID was like God's answer to me, like, okay, you're not having fun. All right, it's time we close this out. And it was probably the best thing, that the best way to go out. The best way to go out, because everybody went out. The lights went out. The stages went out. Like everything. Equipment got pulled out of certain clubs. Everything stopped. And that was a blessing. In my life, that was a blessing. Yeah, I kept thinking, in the back of my head, like, what would happen if I crashed and burned? Or what would happen if, I don't know, whatever, right? You read these stories about these celebrities or whatever, and they have these blossoming careers, these good careers going. All of a sudden, they end up in a tailspin and they crash and burn. Frank Sinatra was like that, and I didn't even know that. I didn't know that until the pandemic, and I started watching YouTube videos, But anyway, so when you become a slave to your creations, make sure you enjoy being that slave. Make sure you enjoy. Make sure it's not work for you. When I see my clients, it's not work for me. I see my clients, I sit down in front of the video, we're doing life coaching or whatever. And the big thing for me is young people, because I see a lot of young people. I teach a lot of young people, and I open their minds to things above and beyond their standard education. And they start gravitating towards stuff, and it's nice to see. And all of a sudden, sometimes things click, and when things click, boom, they start going in one direction that they never thought they would go in, or you never thought they would go in. And that's how you change the world. That's how you make the world different. It's like one person at a time, one thing at a time, one step at a time. It's always like that. Okay. But if you're going to be a slave to a creation, Hawaiians, right now, okay, it's time to create online. It's time to do that. Okay. The metaverse is coming. There's things to do with metaverse. And when blockchain comes, I'm telling you guys, this, I see it because I'm online, and I see what's coming. It's fantastic. I mean, really, it really is. I don't think I would trade my young years for that. Like, I wouldn't want to relive my childhood and grow up in the metaverse kind of thing. No, I really enjoyed the journey so far for me, and the way I grew up and the place I grew up and all that kind of stuff. But your great grandchildren will grow up in the metaverse. They will be a part of that, part of that paradigm. And things are, I want to say, there's always a trade-off, right? And I want to say things are going to get easier, but at the same time, there's going to be trade-offs, right? And when the change starts happening, there's going to be a lot of people losing their minds. There's going to be a lot of people losing their minds, Hawaiians, okay? But if you can cling to the glass half full, you'll be okay. Like right now, at this very moment in 2022, okay, this is the most opportune time in the history of the world, okay, where you can go out and secure a sizable piece of anything for yourself and your family right now. And all you got to do is take the steps. Now, if there's a learning curve involved, go do that. If you got to take courses or what, go do that. I'm very lucky. I have a private teacher, right? Not everybody can do that. I get it. But go and learn. Okay. And then there's resources like, there's resources that you can subcontract to people so you don't have to hire them. You don't have to pay benefits. You don't have to do any of that. Here's one interesting, before I go, this is one interesting observation that I think may help you if you're thinking about doing stuff. So the way things are done now, it's not like before. See, before in the old days, they would make a product or they would design something, right? And they would say, okay, this is what you need. You need this, right? That's the old style. Now, what it is you get wind of what people need and then you create it. So people will come to our website, right? And they will order something, okay? And only when they order something will we go out and assemble it and put it together and design it and whatever, okay? And then deliver it like that. Okay, it doesn't work the other way, okay? The other way, right, you get stuck with inventory, you get stuff you can't sell, you get stuck with, all that stuff. And I don't know, I think I was really lucky when my uncle years and years ago, he told me, he said, you don't want to deal with inventory, don't do that. So we started service companies instead of, retail companies and merchandising. We stayed away from all of that. So, but what I'm trying to say is the new way that it's being done is like somebody goes to your website and they go, oh, we need one like this. And they give you the specs. Okay, we want it to do this, we wanted that. It's like creating a robot, right? And you create whatever it is, the site, the app, whatever it is, the system. Okay, so that's the way things are done now. And that is totally more efficient because now you're creating something that really suits the needs of someone versus something that only worked halfway. Remember in the old days when you used to buy a record album? Okay, I know there's guys that know record albums on this podcast. There's got to be guys in their 40s and 50s on here, okay? And plus. Okay, but yeah, you remember when you liked that one song but you had to buy all 10? Remember that? There was one song on the album that you really like, and you would wear out that song. It had grooves inside, Hawaiians. It had grooves in that thing, right? You play them over and over and over. Oh, that one. And then if the song was in the middle, right, you had to like manually take the record player, the arm, and put them right on it. You see what I'm saying? But you had to buy the other 9 songs that you didn't like. Okay, those days are over. So now we can download one at a time, right? So, but anyway, that's the way things are done now. So things have changed just a little bit. High tech, the tech world is changing huge. I mean, it's going to revolutionize almost everything. Okay, it's already taking away jobs and people are all, mad about that. Okay, look, instead of getting mad, go out and go learn some tech stuff. Go learn how to survive online. Go learn how to put, I see housewives on Facebook doing cooking shows that they would have loved to do in their 20s, right? But now they're retired in their 60s and 70s. They're doing cooking shows on Facebook, and they're passing on the knowledge, and they're making money off cookbooks. They're selling stuff. They're making money, and they're retired, okay? And then you get the other kind of retired people that just not doing nothing, right? And maybe that's good for them. I don't know. But I'm not the kind of person that can retire. I don't know about you, but yeah. So anyway, just be careful of what you sign up for or what you create for yourself, because you better enjoy that, okay? Because there's certain things, in my life that I've created that halfway down the road I'm like, I don't think so, And then there's other things that I'm like, whoa, yeah, I can't get enough of this, and my tastes are changing. Things are changing. Times are changing, and I gotta tell you that it's not as difficult as you think it is. Nothing is as difficult as you think it is. You just gotta take the steps. You gotta take the steps. You gotta pay the dues. You gotta do the trials. You gotta fail. Okay, I fail every week, Owens. I fail at least 3-4 times a week, right? I keep failing, but it's the only way to succeed. The only way. A lot of people are really hung up on failure. They try not to fail. No. Don't do that. Go fall on your face a couple times, right? So you got to get picked up. Then when you get picked up, or you pick yourself up, actually, that's what I got to do, because nobody's here. So I got to pick myself up. But when you do, then you be fine. Okay. But just remember that failure is a part of success. And, you cannot fail in the long run unless you quit. That's it. I mean, basically, and so the other thing too is that think digital. Don't think physical. Okay. All the physical places, bro, in the next 10 years, you're going to see a big revolutionary move towards physical locations of everything. So yeah, digital. Okay. Anyway, hey, till next time. I gotta thank our sponsors. So I gotta go always. Hey, I gotta thank our sponsors. Brother Randy, Sister Jerry at Island Club and Spa. Mahalo. Also, Pure Beauty Salon at Macy's. We want to say mahalo to them too. Okay. And Lori over there. And there's two Loris, the manager Lori and hairstylist Lori. And then also, who else? Voicemaster Enterprises, family of service companies, and AFM Hawaii Music, featuring the music of Darren Chinan. It's online and on iTunes. It's on all kinds of platforms. Till next time, I'm Gina saying mahalo and aloha.